Hello, well today I'm in Nottinghamshire and I'm near the town of Southwell and I'm taking a look at the old workhouse. And this is a workhouse which was built in 1824, and in essence really I suppose the workhouse, it was a means of relief for the poor in times gone by. And this particular one was really instrumental. It was acted as a model for a whole series of workhouses. Because basically the state was faced with the problem: how do you support people who can't look after themselves? And the workhouse was the answer before we had the welfare state. And this one actually influenced the development of the Poor Law of 1834, and it established lots of workhouses under the Poor Law across the country. They really were places of last resort, and I can remember actually people in my own family talking about the workhouse. I had quite a few agricultural labourers back in my sort of ancestry, and the workhouse was a place you basically feared. The idea was to put people off, to make them unattractive places. Just quickly interject here, the markings on this windowsill at the side on the brick is a sundial, and if it was sunny you'd see a little shadow there telling you the time of day. But there are harsh places, as you can see by the yards here. And for the able-bodied people, they really were treated quite roughly. It was made unattractive, plain food, harsh conditions, menial work. They also housed the elderly and the infirm, and they probably got a better deal, but it was still a very harsh regime. A nice little wooden spoon there. And the rules were very strict. You had to be up at a certain amount of time, you had to do menial tasks, you had to go to bed at a certain time, and the rules really did sort of set out how your day worked, and the whole place looks a bit like a prison inside. People were segregated, so you had able-bodied women in one wing, old and infirm women in another wing, and you'd then have children in another wing, so separated from parents. You'd have old and infirm men in another, able-bodied men in another. And you can see here that's a dietary sort of plan for the week. Again, all strictly regimented, all plain and boring in the way of food. And you just didn't really want to end up in the workhouse unless you had to. This particular one was founded by John Thomas Belcher, and there's a painting of the grand man himself. So this place, they had a schoolroom with slates in the bags there, and it was designed for about 160 inmates. You can see with the stairs there, they all go different ways, stairs over stairs, because some will be for men, some will be for women, some will be for able-bodied people, some not able-bodied. Again, complete segregation. And there was really no contact between, say, the old and infirm and able-bodied men and women, nor the children. During the 60s and 70s, it became a home for young unmarried mothers, and I just quite enjoyed to set this room up, how it probably looked at the time, and it just reminded me of my childhood actually, with all the knitting patterns, the Woman's Weekly, the Bird's Custard, the Bassett's All Sorts, I can remember those, Oxo Cubes, Robin Starch and Omo, they're all and Vim, very familiar products to me, and the old butler sink. So that was quite a bit of sort of fond memory in some ways of my own childhood. There you are, a harsh, hard environment, but very interesting to look around and beautifully preserved. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that one. Thanks.